I'm with Erik Solheim, the Executive Director from the UN Environment. Thank you for this interview. The COP13 on biodiversity is starting here in Cancun, and I would like to know what is the expectation you have with this meeting here?
My expectation is that the world is starting to do better in protecting nature. We have a fantastic, beautiful planet with blue and green and white and red. It's so beautiful, and with any number of fantastic species. Here in Mexico, you have more different amphibians than anywhere in the world. You have jaguars, and of course in Africa you have the elephant, or in Asia the tiger. We need to protect this planet. And to do that, we need to do better than we do at the moment.
What is the importance of the biodiversity in our life? How it influences our life?
Biodiversity is at the core of every sort of life. Many of the medicines we get to cure diseases is coming from nature and from biodiversity. The food we eat, think of all the varieties of maize which Mexico has given to the world, or the cactus, or the avocado, or the tomato. All these are products coming from Mexico, which is at the menu or the plate from people all over the planet. Biodiversity is key to our inner feelings, the beauty of nature, the relaxation of walking in the nature, and it's key to our economies. Think of the fact that any number of jobs in the tourist industry and the fishing industry is completely dependent on the coral reefs. If you destroy the coral reefs, fisheries and tourism will suffer massively. And if we make them doing well, then tourism and fisheries will also do well.
Yeah, for sure. How do you evaluate the role of Mexico in this in biodiversity?
Mexico is a global leader on some of these issues. It's now achieving the target of 17% of the land in Mexico under conservation, which of course will make it much easier to protect the jaguar and the amphibians and the beauty of the Mexican landscapes. It will also announce new protected areas at sea, which will protect the coral reefs and the fisheries and the importance of the oceans. So Mexico is a leader, and our encouragement is for the rest of the world to be as good as Mexico when it comes to protection of land and sea.
Mm-hmm. And what is the importance of the cooperation at global and regional level? What kind of cooperation the countries can do?
Without global cooperation, we can do nothing. The most important word in the world today is the word together. Together, the United States and Mexico, China and Europe, Africa, everyone, we can achieve everything we want to achieve. If we allow us to be divided, we can achieve nothing or very little. And of course, we need to also bridge the gap between the public and the private sector, because business and private sector is key to the solution. Most of the environment issues are huge opportunities for business to provide new, green, clean, well-paid jobs.
Okay, perfect. And what is your message during this COP13 here in Mexico? What do you want to say to the population?
That your life is absolutely dependent on the biodiversity on the planet. So please step up, demand that your politicians protect the beauty of this planet. When you go to the shop, buy the products which are environment friendly. If the citizens of the world mobilize, there is no limit to what we can achieve. And we as politicians need to set out the issue of the protection of the planet in much simpler terms, which can engage more with people, because it's a citizens' movement to protect Mother Earth, which will be at the end of the day the decisive factor.
Mm-hmm. And Cancun is one of the most important touristic zone in the world. What is the importance of the ecological tourism for you?
Tourists come to a place like Cancun for many reasons, but for sure one of them is the beauty of the oceans, the fantastic opportunities for diving, the cleanness of the water. If you destroy this, very few tourists will come. And tourism is the biggest job producer on the planet. While industries can be rationalized down to a few people watching some panels and running the industry, the smallest hotel have many employees. So let's protect all these jobs and expand the number of jobs in tourism. And then we need to protect the coral reefs, make sure that the oceans are clean and not polluted and not full of plastics.
And how can we do more tourism, ecological tourism?
By making sure that the situation on nature is good.
Yeah.
This is not about a specialized product for a few people who have particular interest in the ecology. This is to make sure that water is clean, beaches are clean, there's no plastic in the ocean, the coral reefs are in such a stand that the fish is thriving and the divers can go down and see the intense beauty of the coral reefs. So if Mexico and the Caribbean is doing well on this, there is no limits to how many tourists there will come in the future. Tourism is rapidly increasing on the planet and will provide so many new and fascinating and good jobs.
Okay, perfect. A lot of touristic zone areas are in mangrove zone also. What is the importance to protect the mangrove also for the more sustainable tourism?
Because the mangroves is also a cradle of life. There is a lot of life in the mangroves. Mangroves is also a very good protection at the coast. It can make devastating storms much less intense or much less destructive. So we need to protect the mangroves for climate, for the beauty of the land, and for the many species which are living there. Fortunately, mangrove will also recover. Just in Grenada, we visited young people, have a huge progress to try to recover the mangroves after the devastating cyclone there, and who want to rebuild the coral reefs after some of the destruction to the coral reefs. And this work helps, and you see progress.
And what is the impact of the destruction of mangrove exactly on the environment?
It's the lack of protection against some of the storms. It's the destruction of the life in the mangroves. And of course, it's the destruction of one of the most important ecosystems in the world. Wetlands, including mangroves, are among the most threatened of all global ecosystems.
And what about fisheries with the tourism and all the activities in marine? How do you evaluate this? How we can protect the maritime zone?
We need to step up enormously globally to protect the fishing stocks of the oceans. By 2050, the combined weight of plastics in the oceans will, horribly enough, be more than the weight of fishes if we do not change. So, number one, let's stop the pollution to the oceans and remove plastics. Number two, protect the coral reefs and the cradle of fisheries. And let's three, regulate fisheries and stop illegal and destructive fisheries. When nations come together to regulate fisheries, they are successful. Let me offer my own nation, Norway, as an example here. Norway has worked very closely with Russia, with Iceland, and with the European Union in regulating the fisheries in the North Atlantic. And some of the stocks who were close to extinction has now come back and give us an enormous opportunity for fishermen to get an income.
For sure. And we have now the Paris Agreement is now a reality. We have the Sendai framework and Aichi targets too, and the global goals also on sustainable development also. What is the importance, or what will be the role of the biodiversity for all these agreements?
We should act so that we resolve the issue of climate change and make protection of the biodiversity and on nature one and the same process. As an example, if we protect the rainforest, because that's very, very important for climate, but it's also very important for all the species, all the animals and plants living there. So with the same money invested in protection of rainforest, you achieve both these two objectives at the same time. Exactly the same with the coral reefs are destroyed because of climate change, but also because of local pollution. So again, if we restore them, it's good for climate adaptation, and it's good for the local life of the fishes and other animals living in the seas. So for nearly everything we want to do, we can achieve progress on biodiversity and climate with the same money and with the same means.
Okay, perfect. Erik Solheim, thank you for this interview,
Thank you.
and thank you for your time.
Thank you.